first moved in, it was mostly Jewish neighborhood. And most of the businesses along Rosa Parks were Jewish business. But we did have some black business. And we had doctors, we had drugstores. You didn't always have to go downtown to get. You could get a lot of the things that you needed right out here on 12th Street at that time, before the civil disturbance. But then as time went on, the erosion began.
Detroit's black community began to suffer from overcrowding by the creation of I-75. The new interstate highway caused a great number of well-established black businesses on Hastings Street to close their doors for good, and devastated the surrounding black community by forcing people out of their homes to make room for the new road.
During the construction of I-75, at that time, they were not relocating people. And people would see you on the street and ask you, do you know where we can find a place to live? And I think some of the people maybe took advantage of that, or maybe they didn't even know what was going on. They rented to one person and maybe they let their relatives and things move in with them, which can create a problem with overcrowding.
Despite the people's efforts to unite the community, a police raid of an after-hours drinking club on July 23, 1967, escalated into a riot. To make matters worse, the National Guard, who had no experience in urban matters, was called in by Governor George Romney and Mayor Jerome Kavanaugh. After 5 days of civil unrest, 43 people lay dead, 1,189 injured, and over 7,000 people were arrested. Everything had been burned to the ground.
Well, 12th Street was just a vacant street. Nobody was on it because all the buildings had been demolished.
One black couple that had purchased a small business on Rosa Parks, and the lady told me it was the first time she had ever seen her husband cry, because he had retired and they invested their savings into this small party store that they were going to have, and then everything was destroyed.
But the spirit and the commitment of the people in this community were reinvigorated. They let the city and the business community know that they were determined to move forward and build a new place to shop.
The civil disturbance destroyed 97% of the shopping area along Rosa Parks, which at that time was known as 12th Street. And a group of community people previously had talked about having a shopping center. So that group focused more on the need for a shopping center at that time.
And we've heard about Reverend Sullivan in Philadelphia building that black shopping center in Philadelphia. We toured the Philadelphia shopping area. They had a 1036 plan, $10 a month for 36 months, and that would give enough seed money for the down payment for the shopping center. I went to block club groups, community groups, trying to sell the program. But it was a hard sell for black folks because they said that we wasn't going to never build nothing up here. We should get out of the way. That's what colored folks, a lot of them told me, and let white folks build something in here. And he said, no, we can do it. And I told him it's the best thing to do if we did it on our own.
We were meeting day and night as far as that's concerned. And we organized 52 block clubs.
What evolved from that was the Virginia Park Citizen District Council. And the District Council was to oversee the redevelopment of the Virginia Park, what is now the Virginia Park area. One of the project-orientated groups was the Virginia Park Community Investment Associates, which was created to oversee the development of a non-profit community shopping center. That's how we began.
Something was pioneered in this community as relates to community participation. So we sat down out here with the community leadership, and we fashioned something that we named a local participation agreement, which was a contractual relationship with this community to provide them, at that time, a minimal amount, and the amount now escapes me, but it was enough for them to hire some staff, hire a person Because this whole notion about community representation is a joke if they're not able to have someone there who's always there, who can stay right up on top of things and represent the community during the business hours of the day, when after all, that's when most things are happening. The very first CDC law, Citizens District Council law, was the exact word for word local participation agreement contract.
You could become an owner of the Virginia Park Community Investment Association by investing only $360. The word was out, and the citizens believed enough in their community to make the investment, $300 for the bond and 8% interest, and $60 for the membership. It took some time, but the goal of $90,000 was reached, and the community was ready to move to the next step. With the extraordinary vision, determination, and investment from the Virginia Park community, and the strong commitment from the city and Mayor Coleman A. Young, a team made of community, government, and business came together to develop a shopping center for the people, by the people. The Detroit Growth Corporation was the lead agency.
First of all, there was the $90,000 that the community had raised. Next, there was $1,023,000 in block grant money. And then added to that, there was $750,000 in UDAG money, which was Urban Development Action Grant money. So that was most of the money for the project. The rest of the money we were going to get in a mortgage, and Equitable Life Assurance Company came to the table with $1,475,000.
Back in the early 80s, we had an opportunity to be interviewed and to be accepted to handle the management, the property management of the, at that time, the second only minority-owned, African-American-owned shopping center in the United States, and the only one within the state of Michigan.
Typically, our company, our other clients, we might meet with on an annual or even a quarterly basis. Well, this board is so committed to the success of the center that we meet with them on a monthly basis. As a matter of fact, the third Tuesday of each month, I'm sitting in front of them. I am reviewing in very close detail every single contract, major transactions, the collections, leasing activities, all the operations involving the center. And one thing I can say that's unique about this group of owners is they are very hands-on and very concerned and very involved. And believe me, they take me to task if they feel like I'm not on top of my job and my people and making sure that the center is run adequately. They let me know it.
After bids from various construction companies exceeded the budget, they still needed someone to provide the construction funding and someone to build the center. This is when a committed tenant, Paul Borman, stepped up to the table.
I was on the New Detroit Committee, the original New Detroit Committee at the very beginning with, at that time it was Senator Coleman Young, who later became the mayor of Detroit. When he became the mayor, he and I pretty much struck a deal that Farmer Jack would open a new store in the inner city, one every 18 months.
In that process, he agreed to finance the construction financing with no interest, which was extraordinary.
Our first store was open, which was Farmer Jack, opened March the 25th, 1982. The next one was the Perry Drugs, which is now Rite Aid.
Perry had only one drugstore in the city, and it made history because he was about to close that one and get out of the city. And we know in this community that we needed a drugstore.
So we had 40,000 square feet of a supermarket, 6,000 square feet of a drugstore. Now we had a major anchors, and we could then move in the area in terms of smaller outlet stores. Ron Hall went in with a Bonanza, which was a minority Bonanza owner. Mr. Staggers, Little Caesars Pizza, and quite a few others. And also the bank made a decision, DB&T Naco America, to build a bank outlet on the outlot. The city put up the land, transferred the land to the Virginia Park Community Improvement Association. It was a holistic neighborhood approach to development And it was a total community effort from corporations like General Motors, like Henry Ford Hospital, like the Borman Company, like the Perry's Company, Perry's Drugstore, as well as some of the community retailers all coming together. It would not have happened.
When the time came for renovations and refinancing, Comerica stepped up to the table. Comerica, one of the tenants, has always been a great partner. The center not only provides a convenient place to shop, but it is also a resource for the community. Over 20 scholarships have been given to deserving young people living in the Virginia Park Community Investment Association area and to the children and grandchildren of bondholders. These scholarships are given in honor of Herschel L. Ritchie and Carrie Hayes Gaskins, past chair of Virginia Park Community Investment Association, and Marie Coleman, the first person to invest in this project.
The Community Economic Development Committee is now in the process of entertaining the idea of building a community senior service center on the grounds of our shopping center.
We're getting older. I know I am. And I'd like to turn this over to younger people who really wanted to see us get ahead, who cared as much for this community as we do, and have ideas that maybe are better than the ideas that we have, that see into the future a little bit better than we do.
I am involved as a board member and still live in the community because I feel that if we don't continue as a generation after those that have worked hard to build this, unless we work hard to continue it, we won't reap the fruits, if you will.
This has been a profitable community development, which I think says a lot about the people involved with it, and it can be used as a model throughout the United States on how to do community-based economic development.
I'm Congresswoman Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, born and raised in the Virginia Park community. From birth and yet today, I still live in the Virginia Park community and happy to be a part of it. I first want to say thank you to Mr. Ritchie, to Carrie Hayes, and to the entire Virginia Park Board of Directors for believing in our community and bringing us together that we might own a piece of the pie.